My video for January the 11th, 2020 is video number 3332. The title is The Illusion of History? What? Well, at the meetup last night, we had a discussion with 4 men and 4 women. People were glad to see our friend Steve Hart back. As always, Steve emphasized that this world is just an illusion. Even time itself is an illusion. He does not go so far as to say that experience is also an illusion. For me, these are challenging issues. Is it okay to look at history? Michael Crichton said, quote, "If you don't know history, then you don't know anything. You are a leaf that doesn't know it is part of a tree," end quote. Aldous Huxley added, quote, "That men do not learn very much from the lessons of history is the most important of all the lessons that history has to teach," end quote. While I am quoting people, José Martí said, quote, "The first duty of a man is to think for himself," end quote. Exactly. We are to think for ourselves, which inevitably leads to questioning. That's where I am at this time as I make my first video of the 10th year of daily videos. I'm not sure how this will play out, but it has been part of my daily routine for so long, I simply would have to reorder my entire life if I stopped completely. As Mahatma Gandhi said, quote, "You may think your actions are meaningless and that they won't help, but that is no excuse. You must still act," end quote. Making videos is my action. I chuckle because I remember Jerry, one of my other friends, who said, "Do something. Don't just talk, Ron. Do something." And to me, making videos is talking, yes, but it's doing something. It's getting my wheels turning in my mind, thinking about what's happening in my life and in the world around me, which, you know, Steve says the world around me, it's just an illusion, it's a projection. You know, we see things the way we want to see them. Well, there's some truth in that, but it's not an absolute truth. And I'm wondering, what is an absolute truth? For me, love does not seem to be an absolute truth. We hear the thing that God is love and love is taught in all religions. I've said that many times myself. But I look at the world and I ask, where's the love? You know, we seem to be at each other's throats. We seem to be constantly in dissension with each other. And we live at a time, as 2020 begins in the first month of this year, we see the world perhaps in more turmoil than we've ever had, but it does not seem to be getting better, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. It seems to be getting worse to me because of my expectations of playing a role, or believing that I was playing a role in bringing heaven to earth. And that means in manifest form, not an illusion, but the actual experiencing of love and dimensions of reality that are more positive than what our history has taught us. Our history has been one of wars, continuous wars, which, what are the lessons we learn from that? Well, we learn that war does not resolve anything. It stays the same. What does resolve something? To me, it doesn't resolve anything by saying, well, that was just an illusion. But somehow we have to get from that history to a future, building a future that brings peace and harmony and a sense of purpose, that our purposes actually are leading to something good. not just simply more of the same. So history is looking at lessons that have not been learned. When are we going to be able to experience lessons that have been learned? And our so many of the friends in the group last night were pushing the idea that that yes, you know, we have to think things new and see things new. And because there's such a diverse background in the group, you know, we have people that are Jewish, we have people that are Christians, we have people that are agnostics, we have people that have the one fellow at the group last night was a longtime law enforcement officer and worked for the CIA and MI5, not MI5, CIA and NSA as an undercover person for a number of years. So I mean, we have a lot of diversity in our discussion groups, in the meetup groups that we have and that Steve created. And because we have such diversity, and the main point is don't argue with people. It's not about saying you're wrong. And yet I, in the meeting last night, came across feeling like I'm wrong. And I probably said less than anybody else in the group last night. I did not participate very much once all 8 people were there, although one person came late. But I was glad to see a balance between the male and female energy, and I was happy to just be there. But I was also extremely, extremely tired, and it seemed like we got to Steve's at the exit where Steve lives so quickly, because I guess I must have dozed a little bit. I don't know if I did or not. Steve might be able to bear witness to that, whether I started snoring or whatever. But in any case, I am starting my videos again, or resuming my videos, I should say. And where it's going to go, I really wish I knew, but I don't. And I look at my past life, and I don't mean previous to Ron Van Dyke. I mean my past life as in earlier in this lifetime, you know, past decades, etc. And I see how things fluctuate and change. And I am questioning things that I never questioned when I was younger. Although I questioned, but I didn't question like I am now. Does life have meaning? Is my purpose ever going to be fulfilled? Of course, I hope it will. But can I know for sure? I don't know that I can know anything for sure, except what's happening in this present moment. I even reinterpret things that happened in the past, which came up in the discussion last night. People, when they look back at things that they thought were so terrible, they can reframe the experience and see the positive or the good that came out of it. So there's lots of things that we have to consider. And I'm hoping and praying that somehow we have an awakening that enables us to, as I'm creating a new chapter 10, you might call it, that we could all create a new chapter where we're building toward peace, where we're building toward a sustainable community, and changing even the face of the planet, to making the deserts bloom and blossom, and getting better water distribution, and using our resources for good instead of for war and for fighting each other and butting heads and trying to figure out who's right. Love is right, folks. I keep saying that, but it's the truth. If we don't learn to love, we've missed the whole point. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.